This is shocking news. California fires were sparked intentionally using weather control technology. The wildfires that have raged in Northern California this past week were sparked intentionally and were not natural blazes, according to experts who claim the fires were lit by elite arsonists using atmospheric weather weapons, weather technology. These instant fires, quote unquote, which burned houses and cars to a crisp while leaving trees and vineyards untouched, were not natural. Let me say that again. These quote unquote instant fires, which burned houses and cars to a crisp while leaving the trees and the vineyards untouched, were not natural. How could you possibly get 66 individual, widely spaced wildfires appearing instantly and growing rapidly with no natural weather causing them, with perfectly calm weather before, with sudden massive winds in the initiation of the fires, with blue sparks in the air, malfunctioning electronics, that's the key, that's the smoking gun there, malfunctioning electronics, and in some people's heart palpitations. Even people had heart palpitations because of this. Jim Stone explains, weather control technology, work by using multiple transmitters to create a collision zone where differently phased electromagnetic waves cancel each other out and drop their electrical potential into the air, which is a semiconductor, where they cancel. This is the equivalent of biasing a transistor. Semiconductors won't simply break down and start conducting just because a bias field is applied. In order for them to conduct in a controlled fashion, they need a doping agent. In silicon, the doping agents are arsenic and boron. In air, the doping agent is most likely whatever is in the chemtrails. If enough voltage is applied to a semiconductor, it will suddenly discharge it in a big burst. This is seen in the air as lightning. The weather geoengineering system tried to avoid this. But this time around in California, the effects of excess voltage were readily observed by many people, and it manifested itself in more than one way. Evidently, the people running the geoengineering system have become more bold, like a thief that steals more and more, the thief gets away with stealing. The more he gets away with stealing. The same is happening with weather warfare, geoengineering, and this time around, it's in California. The effects of the system in use were easily observed. Number one, some people got heart palpitations from having their bodies charged. Unbelievable. Number two, many people saw electrical flashes that made no thunder in perfectly clear blue sky, and worse, some people even saw small sparks were everywhere in the air around them. Number three, most damning, people are reporting that their electronics malfunctioned before the fires hit, with the most pronounced and spoken about malfunction being at a hotel, where all of the electrical systems in the hotel malfunctioned, including the electronic access doors, forcing people to jump from windows because they could not leave their rooms. Can you imagine this? You're locked in your room, and then the building is on fire, and you're cooked to a crisp, forcing people to jump from the windows because they could not leave their rooms to escape an approaching fire that instantly appeared out of nowhere in perfect weather. This is unbelievable. It is very important to make note of the malfunctioning doors because a simple power outage will not stop those from working. Somehow, jammed the circuits in the doors on purpose. This is astonishing. It's very important to make note of the malfunctioning doors in the hotel because a simple power outage will not stop those from working. You just open the door and leave. But something intentionally jammed the circuits in the doors so the doors would not open. It intentionally locked the doors in the building. Simultaneously, the hotel lost main power, generator backup, UPS backup, and local battery backup. Not even the always operating emergency hall lights worked. Nothing. That would be totally consistent with a massive, potent electromagnetic weapon causing complete electronic malfunction, because not even the circuits in the emergency backup lighting that turn it on, which operate independent of everything off of a small battery right in the light itself, not even circuits at that small level worked. Nothing worked. There are people trolling social media, perhaps because they don't understand how things work, but perhaps not. And they are saying there is no way the air could have been so electrically charged that sparks would be everywhere, because it would electrocute anyone standing in it. This is not true at all. Tesla proved it. There are a lot of photos of Tesla sitting in a chair with an electric storm all around him, because it does not take much to make a show relative to what the body can take, because the body is much better conductor than air. Additionally, the frequency at which the air is charged makes a big difference. Once the frequency goes beyond approximately 40 kilohertz, the body won't conduct it deeply due to the electrical effect known as the skin effect, where electrical charges travel on the outside of objects rather than through them. All the unbelievable Tesla photos were the result of super high voltage, low current electricity traveling around the outside of objects due to the skin effect caused by that electricity also being at a high frequency. So how would this start forest fires? The answer is an easy one. Number one, a dry leaf is thin, which eliminates the benefits of conduction via the skin effect. And two, the dry leaf will try to be an insulator, which will force all of the electricity that flows through it to turn itself into heat. And additionally, if the air is sparking everywhere, as some witnesses say, one of those sparks would probably set off dry tinder somewhere. Proof. Instant fire. There should have been several cases of exploding dry trees where there was no fire there before at all. Lots of people are saying these fires suddenly, quote, exploded out of nowhere, end quote. No hint of any previous fire, no lightning, no nothing. Just a sudden high wind happening at the same time the forest nearby suddenly bursts into flames. Just like that. That would be a telltale sign of a sudden massive electric field heating up everything that could not conduct electricity very well, which means air and dry leaves. There are people saying space-based laser systems are doing this, and that's absolutely would work, so I get it. But I still believe that they are using phase cancellation of radio waves to cause a bias field, because whatever happened when a laser was used would not be easily controllable and would too easily result in the creation of massive ionosphere to ground lightning bolts. That is not happening, which is why I am sticking with the electromagnetic, the EM wave approach to this. Maybe as they get more brazen and not caring about noticeable effects, they will start using lasers, which would be a whole lot easier. So how could you possibly get 66 wildly spaced massive wildfires appearing instantly with no natural weather causing them, growing rapidly with perfectly calm weather before, suddenly massive winds at the initiation of the fires, blue sparks in the air, malfunctioning electronics, and in some people, heart attacks, heart palpitations? My answer? Just ask DARPA. This is by Baxter Dimitri on your Newswire.